What's up, YouTube? It's your boy Rex Righteous, and I'm back with another rap rant. Alright, so this is mainly just a vlog, just an update on my channel and what I think about what's been going on in the past couple days after the main event that we had on Saturday between Canelo Alvarez and Gennady Golovkin. Obviously, we know the aftermath, we know what happened, we know a lot of things were said, and there's been more things going on when it comes to boxing updates and just some more fights, people speculating and stuff like that. So I wanted to cover some of those things. I wanted to talk about some of the things that have been said. I wanted to talk about some of the things that are in the future that I didn't get to cover on the night of the fight, and I also wanted to respond to some of the theories and some of the things that have been said. So like narratives and stuff like that I find to be fake or annoying or just untruthful. So one of the things I've been hearing is that Triple G will probably fight Murata, the Japanese fighter that is fighting in Japan. That has I believe, the regular WBA title, or he has the world title. There people are saying that Triple G might be able to fight him in December. I would assume for New Year's. He's also fighting in October. His fight is gonna be on October 20th, and I don't know how that fight's gonna be made um, if his fight is in October, but yeah, that's what they're saying he's gonna fight. But when he's gonna fight is in October, and in December at the end. So that's almost 3 months. They're probably thinking he's gonna wipe the floor with this guy he's gonna fight. The guy he's gonna fight is Rob Brandt. He is 23-1 with no draws. It's gonna be for the WBA middleweight title. Okay, and that's who Triple G might be looking at. There's no telling. But right now, Murata is he's number 9 on the top 10 BoxRec middleweight division. Uh, he, he's up there, so that's pretty good. I haven't seen anything for Billy Joe Saunders and Demetrius Andrade. I'm still trying to see what's up with those dates, but it's nowhere near this year. I think it's gonna be next year, or maybe I got it wrong. But so far, that's what I'm reading. Obviously, we know Daniel Jacobs is gonna be fighting Derenchenko, Derevenchenko. Finally got it right. Uh, that should be, I think, at the beginning of October. I'm not sure. And then we all already know we're gonna have the Anthony Joshua versus Povetkin fight next week, or this week. I'm sorry, which should be good. Um, and then on the flip side, we have Saul Canelo Alvarez possibly fighting uh, David Lemieux, and also in December. Another fight that's also being spoken about is the Mayweather versus Pacquiao fight, the rematch. Um, they're talking about December as well, so that's pretty interesting. Um, but other than that, I just wanted to see what's up, see what you guys got on your mind when it comes to the scorecards. Have you guys watched the fight back yet? Um, but I don't know what's gonna happen, because when these guys, like when Pacquiao, Mayweather, Canelo, people like that, Anthony Joshua, when these guys fight, they kind of clog up a month. So I don't see how all these fights could be made, but it would be smart to do it because it would be kind of like a double stacked part of the year. You know, since May didn't nothing happened in May. Um, it was kind of empty there. It was kind of like an off season. It was weird, but now I could definitely see some really good fights happening in December. So you know, there's people still running around with different narratives and stuff like that. Uh, the cool one that I really liked that's out there right now is the fact that all the media was kind of like, I don't want to put my name on this because I saw something that was very different from what the result was. And I think that's very intriguing and I think it's very telling. So if anyone uh, wants to act like Canelo blew Golovkin out of the water, uh, a lot of people will attest. You know, HBO Boxing is getting a lot of feedback on Twitter. Uh, Oscar De La Hoya also put out a letter to the fans talking about a robbery. Because I was gonna say that a robbery that happened, but I don't truly believe it was a robbery. You know, so that's from the bottom of my heart. That's my honest, truest opinion. I don't believe it was a robbery. I believe that Canelo did not deserve those titles, but since Triple G didn't knock him out, then you kind of have to say that he did deserve those titles. You know what I'm saying? Because he worked for it. So, you know, I want to watch the fight back. I want to rescore it. I know my scorecard wasn't exactly uh, perfect. Like, it wasn't a perfect standpoint from how I watch boxing, and it wasn't tight. You know what I'm saying? But I didn't have that many people in my house, and I wasn't drunk or anything. I didn't have some weird announcers trying to talk to me on the TV, telling me a whole bunch of lies and stuff like that. I thought that Kevin Kelly and Dougie Fisher did a great job, and I hope to God that the next time I get a HBO pay per view like that, that I get those guys instead of, you know, Max Kellerman and Roy Jones, because I remember watching the first Golovkin and Canelo fight, and I didn't have Max Kellerman and Roy Jones. And when I watched the stuff back on YouTube, I was like, oh my God, yo, like headache style. Like I can't with that kind of breakdown. But anyway, if you don't know about this list, go and check it out. It's very telling that the fight was close, and that's what the narrative should be, and that's what it should always be, is that the narrative was close. I mean, stupid word, narrative. That the freaking fight was close. So that's the list, man, of all the media members that were there at the fight, or that that means something. That means something to boxing media. You know, you even have Forbes here. Forbes had it for Golovkin. No, I'm sorry. Forbes had it a draw. But on the website, I could have sworn it said they had it for Golovkin. I'm not really like searching to see who had it for Golovkin, but it's just out there, and it's so funny. Like, people swear that you know, it's like we're trying to prove a point. At this point, we're not. You know, the people that believe that Golovkin won just know. You know what I'm saying? It's not an argument. It's not like the first time. And that's why it's kind of funny to talk about it sometimes, because some people that truly believe Canelo won feel like they have to argue and fight. But you know, at the end of the day, I'm not gonna lie, I was rooting for Golovkin. You know, because I'm a vlogger. I'm not just a part of the media. I'm not just someone that updates you with media. I'm a fan as well. So I did have a horse in the race, but I wanted to be entertained. I wanted to see a good fight, and I was. So I have nothing against the results. I have nothing against the fight. I knew that if Golovkin didn't knock out Canelo, it would be a hard fight to judge. And it wasn't just because uh, of the Vegas thing. It's also because they both kind of offset each other. So I think Canelo has the right frame, the body frame, to make it weird for Golovkin to go to the body. You know, his head is he's not taller than Golovkin. He's not even as tall as Golovkin. He's a little bit shorter, but his head length, he can see right. You know, he can see pretty good. He can see where Golovkin's gonna punch from because Golovkin is longer. He's a like swimmer body, like Thunderdome used to say. And I really believe that some of the issues that Golovkin had was that if you watch some of Golovkin's fights, you can tell that whenever he goes to, go head to head, with this whole Mexican style, he never has an issue with the ref. So when he goes head to head and he goes to fight with someone and he wants to put head and head right there, you know what I'm saying? To either go to the body or go to do an uppercut or, step back and do a jab or do a right hand or stuff like that. And that's how he would catch people, because he would use his head to kind of like measure you. And it was all with pressure, with intimidation, with all, just offsetting you the whole time. But he wasn't allowed to do that with Canelo. If you don't believe me, go and check the other fights and then compare it to the Canelo fights, because every time he tried doing it, he got warned. He was told not to do it with both refs. So I'm pretty sure that Oscar De La Hoya and Canelo pointed that out to the refs. There's no issue with that. They have the right to do that. Why? Because Canelo has the experience. He's fought there before in Vegas. He has the experience. You know what I'm saying? But like I said in my last video, not Jesus could go in there and win on points. We've seen it before. You know what I'm saying? Canelo just did a really good job at conveying that he could stand toe-to-toe with Golovkin if everything's right for him, and he can display his style of fighting. So basically, it's weird. There's a fine line. Even Skip Bayless talked about how this could be WWE. He tweeted that. Is this WWE? Because they kind of set the table for Canelo. And there are some parts where it's like, come on, man. He didn't do any face-offs with Golovkin. Nothing. No face-offs. Only time he did it was in the weigh-in, and he came at him like he wanted to destroy his life and everything before that. So, I found that very intriguing. There are a lot of things that it's just like, come on, man. Do you really need that much of an edge to show that you can beat this guy? Or can you just beat him straight up? So, there's that. That's one narrative when it comes to the fight. Another narrative is that Golovkin, the fighter that comes forward and that asks for Mexican style, or that asks Canelo to not run, was on the back foot. So what? I don't understand. Sugar Ray Leonard used to fight off the back foot. Ali used to run off the back foot. That is not running, my friend. That is not running. What Canelo did in the first fight is not exactly what Golovkin did in the second fight. So if Canelo's in the middle of the ring and he's fighting Golovkin, right? And we switch roles from the first fight and the second fight. If Golovkin's in the middle of the ring, this guy's on the ropes. That's the extreme version of what Golovkin did in the second fight. So that's what I'm trying to say, is that since Canelo switched roles with Golovkin, it wasn't exactly that, because Golovkin stayed on his back foot and he didn't move from where he was. So yeah, he got pushed back, but he didn't get pushed back to the ropes. Like, oh my God, what am I gonna do? Too much pressure. He's coming at me, and I don't know what to do. He didn't never cut off the ring on Golovkin. So these terms, boxing terms, they need to be addressed with people that know the game, that know boxing. Because Canelo never cut off the ring on Golovkin. Never did, ever. Not in any fight. He had opportunities to do it, but he never did it. And that was just in his forte. That's just how he fights. Okay. So that's another narrative right there. Covered the Mexican style, covered the narrative of Golovkin being on his back foot, like if that's a bad thing. Okay. The punch stats. The punch stats are a little weird. You know what I'm saying? And you gotta know how to read those things. You know? And I'm not saying that not everyone doesn't. But there are some that are obvious, that is like, whoa, you know? And then there's some that is like, okay, we knew this. And then there's some that's just not telling enough. You know? That's why it's always cool when people do punch counts videos, like Autorius does. You know what I'm saying? But yeah. Let me turn on. But yeah, there's the punch the punch videos and stuff like that, the counters. So, you know, there's the jab. Obviously, Golovkin won that. Canelo won the power punch war. He won all of that in the stats and stuff like that. And all the other stuff, the percentages and stuff like that, some of that doesn't matter in boxing. You know what I'm saying? Some of that doesn't matter. You know, you gotta compare boxing to like tennis or UFC. That's how you read the percentage. You don't read the percentage like it's a basketball percentage. Like, oh, he shot 10 shots and made 6, but the other dude shot 4 for 4, so that's better. What the hell? No, that, you know, we're not talking about volume in that way. We're talking about volume in the sense of a fight. If someone's jabbing you and some of them aren't connecting, or they're not counted as being connected, still, that still counts as offense, because it's a part of the fight. You know what I'm saying? Just like if a fighter makes another person miss, like Canelo, he made Golovkin miss. That's not exactly a point, but it still counts to offense or defense. I'm sorry, it should count more towards defense. It's not a point, but it's something that plays to his style, to make you watch him and to make you say like, okay, this is good. This is the Vegas style. I believe is the Vegas style. It's the Vegas style, because Mayweather used to do that, and he used to win rounds off of just making someone miss. You know, they say, you know, it's hit and don't get hit, but like my man Anthony used to say, you know, there's also hit and don't get hit, and then be in position to hit again, which is old school. The jabbing, like Michael Montero said on his Twitter, the jabbing, that's part of the amateur role, you know, in boxing. Win the jab war, you win. That's it. There's no in-betweens. You know what I'm saying? And then there's also, I gotta go to another narrative. The whole thing where people are saying that Golovkin is old. Golovkin and Canelo 3 would not be a good fight because it would end in a knockout. That I don't know. Because Golovkin showed some things to me that was not typical Golovkin. The whole fighting on points, that's whatever, because boxing is boxing. Period. I think the same for Golovkin as Terence Crawford. You know what I'm saying? Or who else? Like Manny Pacquiao. There are some fighters that a lot of their career they knocked people out, and then there's the same fighters that knocked people out, and then they learned how to win on points. I'm talking about a fighter that can grow. That's his evolution. That's part of his evolution is him winning on points. You know what I'm saying? So I don't feel like it's an age thing. Obviously, Golovkin's not gonna always be strong, but yo, he showed that he's a supreme elite athlete in there on Saturday. The only thing I have to say is that I think he was overwhelmed, and I think in the 6th, 7th, 8th, maybe 5th round, he started to show that he was tired of jabbing, and I think he showed that in the first fight as well because he was just jabbing to create. And that's the way he's always fought. He jabs to create and make you miss, and then he catches you. So Mike Tyson was amazing at that, but Mike didn't have the jab volume like Golovkin. He had a jab, but it was more like a pity pat jab to create because he's faster and lower. He was smaller. He was shorter than some of his the fighters that he was fighting up against. So his jabs didn't take that long. It's just okay, boom, uppercut to the body, and then working off of that and building off of that, and then it's the whole way is scare tactics. He's hesitating, feinting, and coming at you, and then slipping and doing things like that. Golovkin did the same. He used to feint, but he never would start with a over the hat, over the top right hand. He wouldn't start his combinations like that. He's always start with the jab, and then he'll work off of what you do. So that's why he was getting tired. That's why he was kind of like just waiting, and he's like, damn, man. He kind of felt it. You could see it in him. He kind of felt like the fans did, when's the knockout gonna come? When we gonna see some fireworks? When is this gonna happen? When is that gonna happen? And the whole thing is, Golovkin is 36, man. He's not 28. So if Canelo is not blowing him out of the water, and he gets the W, and he's almost crying I'm talking about crying like oh my god, like I won the biggest award of my life. He even said it after the fight. Look for the quotes. Is this the happiest time in your life? Yes. Why? Why wasn't it the happiest time of your life when you fought other guys and you won? What was wrong with that? So beating Cotto is not the same as beating Golovkin. I'm sorry. It's just not the same. Golovkin is known as the middleweight king. He's the king of his division. Still is, in my opinion. Still is. Because Golovkin will always be able to beat other fighters in the middleweight division better and more efficient and more convincing than Canelo. Canelo is a great fighter. Don't get me wrong. I am starting to believe that he is up there when it comes to the middleweight division. There's some guys that can't even fuck with Canelo in the middleweight division. They can't even mess with him, But it's all about styles, man. It depends on what you like. It depends on what you see and how you score a fight. You know what I'm saying? I used to do a minute and 30. So I used to split it a minute and 30 for each fighter. You know what I'm saying? I used to be like, okay, 3 minutes start. 3 minutes are here. I'm going to judge it off half, checkpoints, half points. Let's see. Half of this round goes to Golovkin, half of this round goes to Canelo. So whoever had the better half gets that round. But then I started to split it into 3. 1 minute, 1 minute, 1 minute. And that's what counts. Are you counting the misses? That usually doesn't matter to me. The defense doesn't matter to me. And if you punch his glove or you punch him in an illegal spot in his back or on his belt, that doesn't count to me. Those are my standards. Everybody has their own standards. If you make somebody miss, how's that a point? Look, obviously Canelo is the more elusive one. Golovkin can slip too. But when it comes to all fights, if you make someone miss, it's because you're trying to get a point, which goes back to my point of hit, but not get hit, and then be in position to hit again. Terence Crawford does that. Golovkin does that. Canelo sometimes doesn't. He'll hit, not get hit, and then just keep not getting hit, not getting hit, not getting hit, not getting hit. And then wait, and then boom. Or then boom, boom, and then who knows what kind of punch he throws. Because, like I said, some punches, they don't land well. Some punches, they go to the elbow, they go to the arm, they go to the head. That's cool. Those are good scoring punches. But like I said, it's all about styles. What do you like more? What's more impressive to you? And if Canelo's style is so elite and so above everyone's, then why is it that the fight was that close? It's because those guys have chins. That's why the fight was that close. And the reason why Canelo got the W was because he was the favorite. He's the golden child of that